Week, I got to tell you guys, the first week, of course, of conference play opening up, we had some nail biters going down, some huge performances, some games that looked great on paper that didn't turn out to be that way by the end of the night, and some others that we thought maybe there were some big favorites and some upsets would play out in the game. And we certainly saw that in the OCC, and to talk more about it, how about we welcome in our OCC expert, Mr. Andrew Jardy, with me. And Andy, I think it was a fun night in the league because, you know, we had the game that we thought everyone had circled. This is going to determine it. Didn't turn out to be that great of a game.
Did not.
And then we were talking before I left the studio tonight, a couple of other matchups where maybe you thought that there was a favorite, and it didn't turn out that that team won.
Yeah, that was not the case. I was over at Ashland, and New Philadelphia came in, and their defense pretty legit this year, and they dominated Ashland on the defensive side of things, forcing 4 turnovers. And the OCC race, it might be over after tonight with what West Holmes did. I'm going on, what is it today?
1 week in?
1 week in. It's a 2-team race right now, and it's very much trending in the direction of West Holmes.
Well, we thought those two teams that we were going to be at the top of the league played each other tonight. The Tigers supposed to have the vaunted defense. West Holmes with the great offense. We'll show you how it all shook out tonight out there in Amish country. Roll those moving clips. So, again, maybe the game to decide the OCC, at least we thought. Tigers coming in off of a loss to Massillon, and Mason Wolf, he doesn't see anyone open, Andy, so he's like, maybe I can run.
Why not?
And he's able to break the goal line. He would get in. This made it 10-0 Knights at the end of the first. Early second now, Duke Reese back to pass, and he puts it right in the hands of Schenkel. Too bad he plays for the other guys. He's going to take it 20 yards into the zone. The Tigers would eventually answer back. They had a 19-play drive, capped off by that Ricky Mills touchdown run. We thought we had a game on our hands at 17-7, but Mason was hungry like the wolf that he is. He would make it 24-7. Knights at the break. Mansfield would get the ball first. They would score none in the second half. It became the Sam Williams-Dixon show. This happened to put a big cherry on top. He went for $117 and 2 tutties. West Holmes is for real as they cruise to a 37-7 running clock beatdown of Mansfield Senior, who has now scored 7 points, Andy, in 8 quarters.
Weren't we talking about it last week, too, with the coach about don't let this Massillon loss carry over in the next week and cost you 2 games, and that's exactly what we saw here tonight as now Mansfield Senior. They got to go back to the drawing board and figure something out on the offensive side of things because it has been a struggle the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, certainly. I think they're lacking a little bit of creativity on offense. They have so many great playmakers and just can't get them the ball, or at least not in the fashions that I think that they would like to.
Right.
So I think that J.O. over there, the offensive coordinator, and Choki Bradley, I think they need to get on the same page with, hey, man, we got all these speedsters. We got some fantastic athletes. How do we get them the ball in space? And I'm fully expecting them when they go on the road next week to take on the Quakers of New Philadelphia to look a whole lot better. But speaking of New Philly.
How about that?
They were at Ashland tonight, weren't they?
They were at Ashland tonight, and defense travels. And my highlight is not going to be as exciting as yours because this game was 0-0 at halftime.
Oh, my.
It was a defensive slugfest. Let's take a look at those highlights. We'll start things off. Third quarter, 5:24 to go. Trevor Bean takes it to the outside. 2-yard touchdown run, 6-0. They would miss the extra point. They'd make a field goal to go up 9-0. In the fourth, it's Landon McFrederick from 8 yards. He's going to bounce to the outside. Came in and did a little wildcat, and it worked. They get in for the touchdown. It's 9-7. Then this is on 4th and 1. 5:23 to go here. 4th and 1. They opt to go for it, and it's Trevor Bean, Mr. Bean again. 42-yard touchdown run. He takes it in 15-7. They would end up hanging on to win this thing and improve to 2-2 on the season, 1-1 in the conference.
Just when I think I know something about the OCC,
Yeah.
week 4 happens and kind of flips it all up on its head, Andy. So Ashland, you know, they were starting to get it together offensively each of the last 2 weeks. Granted, they played against teams that were combined 0-6 during those 2 weeks. But what happened to the offense this week? Where was it?
Well, they had a quarterback injury coming into this week, so the stud that's been with them from the beginning here has not been able, he wasn't able to go tonight. Nathan Bernhard, who has just been tearing it up as a freshman, he was out. The offense really struggled in his absence, and just they could not get anything going against New Philadelphia. But yeah, leaving this station earlier today, we were like, this is going to be a shootout kind of game. Maybe 35-28 was the score.
Yeah,
you
that was
gave
my
me.
score pick.
It was not that at all. 15-7, and yeah, so now New Philly, they're hanging around here in the OCC. Their first year, and it's great to see this rivalry back too, by the way, between these two schools tonight. Hadn't played each other since the 80s. It's great to get them back in the same conference.
All right, let's go ahead and show you all of the other scores that went down in the Ohio Cardinal Conference this evening. We already showed you what West Holmes was able to do to the TY Tigers. How about Worcester and Madison? And I believe that this was a 7-0 game in favor of the Rams at halftime, and then it was 35-0 in the second half all of a sudden?
Yeah, Worcester got a couple big plays in the second half. They had a pick six, a punt return for a touchdown, started to air it out as well. So Worcester found it there in the second half. Much like I saw them in the second half against Wadsworth. They were down at the half, found it in the second half. So they're still kind of working through some things with that young offense, but they're starting to, I think, find their rhythm here in conference play. And we'll see. They're up there with West Holmes now, and that game, September 23rd, is at Worcester when West Holmes will travel there. So that could ultimately be where I call the OCC. Kind of want to call it tonight, but we'll hold off just to keep the intrigue going.
Okay, so we'll just keep the phone down on the desk for now. We're just one
No
week
deal.
in.
No deal.
We're not taking it just yet.
No.
But Lexington took the deal of picking up the phone and answering the bell after an 0-3 start. How about hanging up 30 at home, giving the fans something to cheer about?
Yeah, and Mount Vernon's been in a lot of close games this year, and then tonight just did not go in their favor at all. Lexington picking up its first win and moves to 1-0 in the OCC. So yeah, this was interesting night in the OCC. A lot of blowouts and a couple ugly scores there, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out the rest of the way.
Yeah, for now, of course, we've got the undefeated 2-0 Worcester team sitting atop of the conference, and as you already alluded to, when they take on West Holmes, that probably now is going to be the game that's going to determine things, with Mansfield maybe out of the picture, unless Worcester can pull off that upset.
That is correct.
We will find out. All right, guys, so those are your scores from the Ohio Cardinal Conference this evening, but we all know why you're here. All the top plays from every week and all the best performances. We leave it to you, the fans, to let us know what was the best of the best. So let's start with the best individual performance of the week. From week 3, let's meet your Friday night phenom, according to you, the fans in North Central Ohio. And here we go. Thanks to Adina Corporation for sponsoring, but who are they going to back, Andy? Who was the best of the best according to the fans?
Ooh.
Well, how about this guy? What a surprise. Tyler Johnson, the Centerburg Trojan, and I think actually he earned it this week. Sometimes these Trojans fans, they'll come in here and they'll go all in for their guy. 5 total touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
117 rushing yards, 166 through the air. He was unbelievable, certainly
yeah.
very fitting choice.
I was happy to be there doing this game and see this phenom performance because, yeah, he was very much deserving of it. Led Centerburg to that big win over Worthington Christian. Yeah, great game out of Tyler Johnson.
So congratulations to Tyler and his Trojans for getting the big win, and he gets that. But how about the top play of the week? Uh-oh, it's a freshman. Gunnar Lacey, you got to see this kid in action tonight, as we're going to see against Buckeye Valley. This ball is going to go up in the end zone. Gunner's going to come down with it to end the drive.
Is there a better name than Gunnar Lacey? I mean, there are a lot of great names in this area for football, and Gunnar Lacey, the pick in the end zone, sealing it.
So congratulations to our phenom, and then also the freshman, Gunnar Lacey. First time making the list, and a first-time winner. All right, guys. We are going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we are going to dive into the Northern 10. We're also going to have some KMAC highlights and all the scores from both of those conferences. And oh, by the way, Eric Will's hanging out with us tonight. He's going into Coach's Corner, going to break down a play. That's all on the other side. Stay with us.
Here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Welcome back into the Friday Night Pigskin. Hayden Gray here along with the one and only KMAC Trav.
Better know it.
Obviously, our Knox Morrow Athletic Conference expert. But we're going to break down some N10 scores first. A big night over in the Northern 10 Athletic Conference. Let's pull up that scoreboard and let you know what happened this evening. Carey, baby, 42-0 blank over Winford.
Landon Kemmerly, 2 touchdown runs for the #1 team in the country roads rankings.
Those Golden Eagles and Colonel Crawford putting up another big score, 63-12 over Bucyrus.
Eagles remain unbeaten. They get Seneca East next week, a one-loss squad, before the big one, hosting Cary in Week 6. That's something to look forward to.
Seneca East in a close one with Upper Sandusky. They edge out a win 41-34.
Yeah, this one was back and forth. The Tigers scored with 1:33 to go. Foose to Perry, and then they pick off Upper's last-second ditched effort to seal the victory and remain at 3-1.
Buckeye Central earns their first loss of the season, 42-12 Mohawk victorious.
Yeah, Mohawk gets win #1, a team that I was expecting to do big things. They finally get on the board and hand, like you said, Buckeye Central their first loss of the season.
And then Gibsonburg put a wallop on Calvert, 44-14, Travis.
Actually, it should be Connor Smith versus Calvert. He scored all 6 touchdowns for Gibsonburg on the ground by himself. Wow.
What a night in the Northern 10. Obviously, great football being played over there. But now we're going to switch gears. We're going to take a look at the KMAC, and we're going to start off with a highlight, and we're going to take you down to Centerburg, where East Knox was the visiting team this evening. And Tyler Johnson's going to start off things with a touchdown to Mason Tursky.
Phenom.
20-yard.
Phenom Tyler Johnson.
To make things 7-0.
Also one of our stat leaders on the ground, too, #3.
And he's not going to stop there. He's going to find Trevin Harris on a 9-yard touchdown pass to make things 14-0. Trojans lead early.
He's like
Next
Tebow.
up is Caden Lamaster, 6-yard TD run, 21-0. Trojans wearing those camo tonight.
They look nice. Rep in the military.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see him, but you could see this 57-yard touchdown run by Caden LeMaster, second of the night to make things 28-0.
Tyler Johnson and Kalen LeMasters are one of the best 1-2 punches on the ground for the KMAC right now.
They definitely are. Here is going to have a 1-yard touchdown run, though, from the Bulldogs. Brayson Davis finds his way into the end zone. It would be the Bulldogs' lone score of the evening. 3-yard touchdown run coming up next from the Phenom yet again, Tyler Johnson.
Do you know he has a jump pass? We were talking about this in the stat leaders. He does complete the Tebow trifecta. He can run, he can pass, and he has the jump pass.
He does have it in the arsenal. And then a blocked punt's going to cap off the night for Centerburg, make things 42-7. What a game for the Trojans. East Knox continues to experience some struggles.
A great win by Centerburg. They dropped their first game of the year, and they have just rolled ever since. And, you know, this is a team that graduated a lot of players last year, but with Tyler Johnson and company, a couple of those players that come back, they have a chance at running the KMAC, especially once we get to the scoreboard here in a little bit. You'll see that they're one of the front runners now. But another front runner is the Northmore Golden Knights. However, Maxton Lauer unable to play in this one with a wrist injury, so you're thinking their bell cow, he is not there. What can they do? Well, we'll show you the highlights right now and tell you what happened. Opening drive for Cardington, actually moving the ball, but it's a fumble. Northmore, Ben Benot break on the opening drive, and that is going to set up A.J. Bauer. And what does Bauer do? Well, he calls his own number from 12 yards out, 1 minute, 3 seconds in. It is 7-0 Golden Knights. It stayed that way into the second quarter when those Pirates, well, they answer. They tie things up. Caden Beach rolls right and takes off. Yo-ho, a Pirates life for him. 46 yards, and we are tied at 7. You missed me on the podcast. I have to give some cheese to you guys this week. Second half, and after a personal foul on 3rd and long kept the drive alive, Paul Kramer busts in from a yard out. It's 14-7 Golden Knights. Next possession, Cardington punting, and the snap goes over his head. Northmore's going to jump on it at the 1, which will set up Caleb Chenier, our MVP tonight, from a yard out, put the Golden Knights up 21-7. Midway through the fourth now, 21-13 Northmore. Cardington with the chance, but Chenier, who scored twice on the ground, added 3 extra points, gets the big pick to finish things off as the Golden Knights, without Max Lauer, move to 4-0. They win it 27-13. It was a balance between Caleb Chenier, Paul Kramer on the ground, and then a little bit of A.J. Bauer in that defense that has turned over teams at a high amount, just like last year, even though they lost 4 players, 4 linebackers, defensive back, that team that had 15 picks, they already have 9 turnovers forced this year. This Golden Knights squad is rolling. They are undefeated, and let's take a look at the scoreboard to see if anybody else is sticking with them as they set up a big matchup next week, live and free on the OH Report against a Danville squad that knocked off my KMAC favorite in Fredericktown, 28-17. Blue Devils, big statement win for them, Hayden.
That is, and if they want to keep their hopes alive, that Knox Morrow Athletic Conference always stays close. You can never really determine it after just 1 week. They do their job to keep things close. And then Mount Gilead earning a big win over a lot of a team that beat Hillsdale last week. Indians take the win 18-13 there.
Yeah, it's a big dub for the Indians. They travel to Fredericktown next week and also sets up Centerburg at Loudonville, a squad that's trying to bounce back after kind of a head-scratching win, but maybe not because who knew what Mount Gilead had? They had a transfer, they had an injury this year, but it seems like it's brought the team together because they're right in the thick of things in the KMAC as well. And do you know who else is in the thick of things? My favorite segment of the night coming up with one head coach, Eric Will. He's going to break down a play from a game that he helped produce tonight, the River Valley Clear Fork game. Hey, Coach, take it away, my friend.
Let's go, Red Rig!
All right, here we go. So welcome to Coach's Corner. So Hayden Gray and I had an opportunity to be at the River Valley Clear Fork game tonight. Absolute shootout, 44-42. Great quarterback play by Victor Skoog and Caden Shadone. So we're going to be taking a look at Caden Shadone here quickly, but a couple different things before we take a look at our play. Number one, what's our offensive philosophy? Are we quarterback-centric or are we quarterback-friendly? If we're quarterback-centric, that means everything we're doing, we're designing it around the quarterback's ability. If we're quarterback-friendly, we're trying to allow our quarterback to manage the game and sometimes probably not hurt us as much as helping us. So in this situation, Shadone it's quarterback-centered. So he's their leading rusher as well as their leading passer. Also, design versus off-script plays. Most quarterbacks that it's quarterback-centric, what you're looking at is they're going to stay pretty much on script, or they're going to go with the design of the play, but when it goes off script, they have the ability to react and turn something that might be a loss or a minimal gain and make it into a spectacular play, and that's what we're going to be looking at here. So we got the read pitch. All right, so tonight we're in the fourth quarter. We got a tight game going on, and we got two quarterbacks that are battling it out. Victor Skoog, Shadone, they're duking it out. Well, here's what happens. We have a read pitch. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this, and when we get to the film, I'm not 100% sure on who they're reading. But look at the analytics of this. We have 6 guys in the box. We have man coverage right here by Clear Fork, and the goal of this is we're going to work our pitch here. The quarterback is going to take 2 or 3 steps. He's going to get his eyes immediately on the pitch or on his read. So it's going to be either here or here. Now, what you're going to see in the film is we get an engage here. I'm not 100% sure if he's supposed to engage or get to the second level, but we'll say this is the read for the sake of the play. We're going to lock on here. We're going to step, check, and go to the mic. This guard is going to scoop, pull around, and he's going to work up through. The guard pulling through is working for the quarterback. Anything outside is predicated. If he goes here, the quarterback keeps right now. He knows that. If he stays inside or works here or just stays even, that's a pitch. You're getting to the edge. This is how you get numbers in your favor. Okay? We're going to scoot backside. Now, there's another coaching point you're going to see as this play goes on because Shadone is going to do a phenomenal job on this. He is going to end up coming through. Instead of this being our alley, that's where we want the ball to go. It kind of collapses, and this Mike, if he overplays, that's what you want. You'd love that. If he stays at home, you're hoping your guard, both your guards can pick that mic up. So he's going to work through and dance and jump cut, and he's going to take this thing to the house. So you're going to see the design of the play, really it breaks down. But what makes a great quarterback and a great athlete is being able to go off script. So let's get this play up. Let's show people at home what we're looking at. So you can see there's the fake pitch. Look at him, making guys miss like crazy. There's missed tackle, jump cut. Here comes another one right there, another one right there. Now, can we go take that back just a little bit there? Let's go back just a little bit so we can watch this from the very beginning. Let's slow this thing down. If we can slow it down, go back to the, if you don't mind, go back to the very beginning of the play. All right, see our guard wrapping around there. So as he's working through, watch the receivers as well. Nobody's playing to the whistle. You can see guys are already starting to stop. Here we go. There's your first encounter with the defense. Go ahead and keep playing. Look at the receiver. See the receiver up top? He stops moving. Then he sees, oh my gosh, my quarterback keeps moving. Keep rolling the film. Here comes another jump cut. That's an incredible athletic play right there. This right here got River Valley right back into the game. It was a huge momentum play. And Caden Shadone, man, what an absolute stud tonight. Victor Skoog as well. You know, I just wanted to bring this up because you have the design of the play, and that's awesome, but the great players around our area, and you can go school to school to school and say the exact same thing. What do they do off script? Number 11 gets an A+ for extending a play, making his linemen right, and encouraging his receivers to continue to block down the field, because until you hear that whistle, the play's not over. Play to the whistle. So that's all I've got, but we've got a whole lot more here on the OH Report, so stay tuned.
At At Knox Community Hospital, your primary care physician is more than someone who delivers your test results, more than someone who writes prescriptions, more than someone who listens to your heart. We are your healthcare partner who takes the time to know you, listen to your concerns, and provide you with expert personalized care to make and keep you well. Because to us, you're more than just numbers on a chart. You're a neighbor and a friend. Knox Community Hospital, in the community, for the community.
We guarantee nobody else gets you closer to the action than our exclusive coverage. So give me a call, Brian Skoronsky, and let's make you a part of the game. What's up, America? Brian Skoronsky here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Back here on the Friday Night Pigskin presented by Adina Corporation. It's almost MOAC time. I see that there's a lot of Crestview fans out there waiting in the wings.
Number 2 on the Country Roads rankings, right behind Carey. Very close. Very close.
So they're coming up here in just a second. But first, we're going to dive into some more highlights. We got some moving pictures on the way from our highest scoring highlight of the night. So we better just get right into this before I run out of breath.
I'm so excited. Let's do it. Come on. Come on.
River Valley at Clear Fork. This was a shootout, folks. Here we go. So we're going to begin with a guy who Eric Will just broke down, and this kid had an unbelievable night. I wish I had his final numbers. We are going to find him. He's so fast. Look at him. Caden Shadone, 20-yard rushing touchdown. This would make it 7-zip in favor of River Valley early on in the first quarter.
The kid's a video game. I mean, come on.
Powie Alt, the transfer, 6-yard rushing TD here. We're all even inside of the corral. Still first quarter now, and Shadone, oh, he back at it again.
Laser he threw right there.
This time hooking up with his buddy Grant Butler to take the lead right back. Victor Skoog, he don't like being behind at home, never that. So he's going to get into the end zone himself from 11 yards out. We're all square heading into quarter number 2.
Great matchup between two running quarterbacks, too.
And there's Out. Man, look at the shiftiness.
Don't forget about him.
Zigzags in his second 6-yard rushing TD of the night. So it's 21-14, Colts in front. Will Garrison gonna tie things up here as he barrels his way in from 10 yards out.
And we're only halfway through the highlight.
So there's a long way to go here, folks. Second half, we got a long 35-yard field goal attempt from the lefty. It's
for the brand.
And it's good. So 24-21, Colts in front. They're gonna extend their lead to the largest of the night. On either side, on the money, Skoog to Anderson.
Dropping dimes.
31-21. But Shadone, we mentioned that this kid, he's got the full bag of tricks, man. Check this out. Tebow.
Ah, there's the Tebow throw. Tyler Johnson probably taught that to him down the road at Centerburg.
So the jump pass to Garrison trims the gap down to 3, but Skoog's like, nah, man, that's a little bit too close for me. Look at the Vic getting into the open field. He's going to sauce his way into the end zone. The PAT would be missed, so it's 37-28.
Here's the play of the year, I think, so far.
You guys,
just look at him.
You just saw
look
it
at
put
it.
down by Eric. How many missed tackles are there?
I mean, you can't even do this on Madden most of the time. You better celebrate with that ball up there. That deserves it, man. Player of the year right there.
So that brings them within 2, 35-37, fourth quarter action now. But the Skoog show continues to run. He's in from 5 yards out this time. Back out to a 9-point cushion. But with 4:44 left in this barn burner, you know that there's more touchdowns coming. You know that there's more Shadone, who accounted for every single River Valley TD on this night, including that one. But it's too little, too late. 44-42, Clear Fork holds on. They're 3-1 now, and their only loss to a team that made it all the way to the state finals last year. I think the Colts pretty good.
Yeah, I was really high on this squad before in the preseason, especially in our preview show. They have a really good chance of doing something this season, but it was Shadone versus Skoog tonight. Shadone showing it off, but Skoog using the muscle to get into that end zone, and what a game between these two. That was a MOAC championship matchup right there. These two teams have a really good shot. I thought Highland would have had a good opportunity of playing for it, but they're off to a slow start. We'll see if they can get through when we get into the score.
Well, contraire, Mo Frere, let's put a little respect on the 1, 2, 3-time defending champions of the MOAC.
This is true.
How did they do tonight, Trav?
Well, let's take a look at the highlights and we'll show you. How about that?
Shall we? Shelby on the road tonight at Marion Pleasant. Here's how it all shook out.
Dacron Chase on the 30-yard touchdown catch makes it 7-0. But Shelby, they will have an answer. Braden DeVito hands off to Miles Hall. He moves his way into the end zone, makes it 7-6. And then a 12-yard touchdown reception coming up here by Grayson Haydinger.
Haydinger.
Makes it 14-6. But wait, they're not done. Maverick Noel, another one of those great names, acting like Top Gun through there. 21-6 up top. Shelby leads at the half. Third quarter now, and Miles Hall so fast that it was at the end of the touchdown right there. 67 yards to extend the lead, 28-6. And then Isaiah Ramsey, one of our stat leaders, with the touchdown reception from 9 yards out, makes it 34-6, the final.
So Shelby rolling again, like the Shelby team that we're accustomed to seeing in the MOAC, off to a 3-1 start, just as like the Clear Fork Colts are. But let's see what happened throughout the league. Actually, no. We've got more highlights, huh? We're not even done with the moving pictures yet.
Let's go to the next one.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go over to the cutie corner now with G-Man and Storm standing by. Take it away, fellas.
We got this guy Shelby's tearing through the competition. All right. Well, Garrett, you got the MOAC this week, which is I don't know, one of my favorite conferences, I'd say. So why don't you go ahead and tell me about them?
Well, Storm, the Galleon Tigers, I haven't got to see them all. I've seen them all last year. I haven't got to see them at all this season, but I'm going to get to see some highlights here tonight, Storm.
Here we go, man.
So let's take a look at Galleon, trying to make it 2 in a row over there at High C Park, over there in Galleon. And as you see in the moving pictures, Galleon coming out in one of my favorite uniforms, too. I want to shout him out here. But Gabe Ivey, I knew this guy was going to have a big year. This was an 11-yard touchdown run versus Marion Harding in the first quarter. That makes it 7-0. And then, of course, who else but Gabe Ivey? This is going to be a 72-yard touchdown run from in the 3:30-minute mark in the second quarter, making it 14-0. Marquise Long from Marion Harding would drop this puppy in a bucket for a 62-yard receiving touchdown with 1:30 remaining in the second quarter, 14-7 at the half. We're going to skip along into the fourth quarter here, Storm. Marquise Long now punting and trying to catch it. Muff ball, Cooper Kent, right place, right time in the fourth quarter, and this is going to set up who else, man, but Gabe Ivey, guy putting on a show. This one from 9 yards out, 28-7 in favor of the Tigers with 7:51 remaining, and of course, why not just one more, this time for Logan Shifley and Galleon from 26 yards out, making the score 35-7 in favor of the Tiger Storm as they move to 2-2 on the season.
Little poison ivy action there for the Tigers. As I don't know, Garrett. It seems like Galleon, they're out. They're ready.
Yeah, Storm coming to the MOAC. They struggled out of conference, but picking up the win last week, and then now coming into MOAC play and getting another win. Let's take a look at all the MOAC scores from around the area. You just seen a highlight from Brian and Shelby, mine with Galleon. Let's move to all of them. As you see, Highland, finally bouncing back against Crestview, knocking off an Ontario team who was undefeated 27-17. And then that shootout in Clear Fork versus River Valley, you already seen the highlight for that. Clear Fork being able to stay alive 44-42. Shelby, you just seen, bounces back in MOAC play. Galleon now winning the back-to-back games. And now this one, Storm.
Ooh,
not in the MOAC and the Wayne County Athletic League as Hillsdale, but we cover them a lot, so we're going to throw them in there just for some viewing purposes. But Norwayne putting it to Hillsdale for their second loss in a row, 70-14. Not a close one out there.
Isn't that a 2-game skid for them now?
Yeah, because they dropped the 3-game skid because they lost to Lucas, and then they dropped to Lomville last week, and then now falling to Norwayne. So
A couple of tough losses after they almost beat Lucas. I mean, that game was 1 point away from going to overtime.
Hanging tough with Lucas, Storm, but a team that Lucas will see further on down the line is Crestview, and I know we were out there, Storm, so let's see if we can get some of those highlights and see what happened over at Scott Bailey Memorial Field.
Got my readers on, so let's roll right into this highlight. As starting things off would be Devin Holloway from 25 yards out to make it 3-0 in the first quarter. Next up, Western Reserve, Rhett Gross, who was doing it all night long. 4-yard touchdown run on the QB draw. For Crestview now, let's jump to the second quarter. Raymer, 12-yard run to make it 17-6 in favor of the Cougars. Then Connor Dawson, a 4-yard touchdown run, and they would miss the 2-point conversion. And last but not least, of course, Raymer would ice this one from 12 yards out with a run play to give us our final 24-12. Crestview remains undefeated, and Western Reserve falls in a scrappy battle to 1-3.
Yes, from a closer game than I think some of us, thought it was going to be. And you got to shout out to Western Reserve. They came to play. They tried to come and play spoiler. Rhett Gross, the converted offensive lineman that was playing QB, was really running over the Cougars all night long. They finally were able to get something to go in that fourth quarter due to 2 missed plays from Western Reserve. So the Cougars still undefeated and still staying alive at 4-0.
Definitely, man. And it was this game, I think, was a lot closer than the scoreboard would have indicated. But let's take a look at all of our Firelands scores from around the area. We have a ton of them lined up for you guys. Of course, Crestview winning over Western Reserve 24-12. Plymouth putting up 41 over Monroeville. St. Paul 54. South Central 20. Lucas putting up big numbers versus Mapleton 57-21 over an undefeated Mapleton team up to that
Mapleton
point.
team. That was my so-called
that was your
upset of the week. So
wow,
I went 2-0 this week, baby.
And Willard not in the Firelands Conference, but Linda Mendoza would be heartbroken if we didn't include them on there. They put up 63.
They put at least 40 up every single game.
I know.
Willard's offense is must-see TV.
Yeah, so they'll get a big W, scoring 63. I think that's gonna do it. I think for over here. I think we're going to send it over to Brian and Travis once again, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll check out what's going on over there.
Storm, you are never mistaken, my friend. Always a lot of action going down over here at the main stage. And it was a fun week 4. I love when the conference season gets kicked off because there's all these question marks, okay, about who's going to be some of the favorites. And then a lot of things, at least I think for the losing teams, it kind of shakes out where then you start questioning a lot of what you thought you knew heading into the season.
I'll Mansfield Senior maybe for you. I mean, 2 tough teams. We knew this was going to happen this year.
Hey,
with
guys.
Maslin and Mansfield Senior, but hey, buddy, how you doing? Crestview, hey, they need to be tested, right? That was a good test for them. Yeah, as he nods his head because he doesn't have any microphones, but take it away, Brian.
All right, guys, so before we get to all the games that we have coming up next week, some still could be added. Now that I'm hearing about what Willard is doing, I think we need to come see them, and there's a few other teams on my radar as well. And we want to hear from some players, I think, potentially on this program in the weeks moving forward. So if we can get some permission from some of the coaches, I think that'd be pretty cool to get some call-ins at the end of the show, because I know y'all like to stay up late, you teenagers, and we'll talk to you guys about your contest and see how things all went. But hey, next week, here's what we're going to have for you guys live and free with this entire crew right here. Let's begin with games that happened tonight. And I can tell you that I've got a good feeling West Holmes might win that one 37-7. How you guys feeling about Ashland's chances?
I don't feel good, Brian. I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't feel good.
Is that going to be G-Man's upset of the week, perhaps? New Philly coming in for the win? Okay. So no graphics, and that's great. It's great that we don't have graphics this week because I might
changed.
I'm going to shake up some things this next week. Definitely, we're going to have some highlights showcasing some new teams. You know, we read the inboxes. We know who you guys are trying to see and who we haven't seen up to this point. So we're going to send guys like this dude over here, meet Justin Wilson, out to some games, and we're going to bring you some cool coverage. But I think that's going to do it for tonight, right? Fun, exciting Friday, a hot one. I'm still sweating. You wouldn't know that I was in camo cargo shorts underneath this beautiful jacket and dress shirt. It's real. And that's how we're going to end the show, with these.
John Cena, good lord.
Deuces, guys.
I got it.